Alright, what's up, guys? Today I want to tell you a story. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, I really liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought it was very immersive. I thought this film was epic. I think it was beautifully shot, and the cast did an amazing job. Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Margot Robbie give amazing performances in this film. That third act was just phenomenal. This film is very immersive. I love the scenery in this film. I love the way it was shot. And it really puts you into the 1960s. I really like Brad Pitt's character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Brad Pitt plays Cliff Booth, who is a stuntman in this film. And Brad Pitt's character has some of the best scenes in this film. Brad Pitt stole the show in this film. I feel like Brad Pitt's character, he's such a badass. You know, he has the cool fight with Bruce Lee, which I really liked. I love the scene where Bruce Lee's telling Brad Pitt, my fists are registered as lethal weapons. I kill you and you die, I go to jail. And Brad Pitt's like, anybody kills anybody by accident, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter. So I thought that scene was pretty cool. And then they have their fight. So the Brad Pitt Bruce Lee fight scene was really cool. You know, he just grabs him and throws him against the car. Even Brad Pitt's dog in this film is pretty cool. So I really liked Brad Pitt in this film. He had some of the best scenes. I love the scene in the third act where the bad guys come to kill them. And Brad Pitt's like high. He's high. He's not thinking that straight. He starts laughing and doing all this funny stuff. But then Brad Pitt's like, and then his dog just jumps and bites one of the bad hippies' hands. So I thought Brad Pitt has some great scenes. Brad Pitt is a very charismatic, likable actor. And I feel like any film he's in, he completely steals the show. So yeah, I think Brad Pitt's character, Cliff Booth, might be my favorite character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love the scenes where he's just driving around in his car. Brad Pitt plays a very chill character, and he's just so cool in this film. Leonardo DiCaprio plays Rick Dalton in this film, and he's playing a more aging actor. You know, Leonardo DiCaprio always gives a great performance. There's no doubt about that. And I think that he really did a good job in this film. I like the scene with Leonardo DiCaprio and the little girl where they're just sitting outside one of the sets and she's just reading a book and he's reading his book and he's like trying to talk to her and they just start talking, but it's so funny though. And like, I think their interaction was pretty funny and that little girl was a scene stealer. I think she stole the show for that amount of time that she had. So I think that little girl, she's very likable and charismatic and she did a great job. I like the scene where Leonardo DiCaprio goes into his RV and he just starts spazzing out. He just starts swearing and just starts kicking things and screaming and yelling. So that scene was pretty fun to watch. Margot Robbie is beautiful and charismatic. And I love the scene where she goes to the movie theater and she's like, what if I'm in the movie? So I love the scene where Margot Robbie, you know, goes to see the movie. She got a little white skirt on. She's looking cute. So Margot Robbie is a beautiful blonde and she's very charismatic and she's a great actress. So I really like Margot Robbie in this film. I thought that, you know, she was the eye candy of the film and it was very nice to see her. And I believe that Margot Robbie did a great job playing Sharon Tate and really showed you the humanity and the kindness and goodness of Sharon Tate. So I really liked Margot Robbie in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Sydney Sweeney is in this film. She has like one scene at the start where we see the hippies like dumpster diving and then we see her one time in the house where she's like, oh, the Hawaiian guy seems pretty cool. So she doesn't have a lot of screen time, but Sydney Sweeney is in this film. I really like Sydney Sweeney. I think she's beautiful and very likable and yeah, she's a great actress. Margaret Qualley plays Pussycat, who is this hippie girl. You know, he meets that girl and that hippie girl, I like her. I thought she was very likable. I thought she was very beautiful. But I loved a few scenes of her, like where she's interacting with Brad Pitt, you know, waving at him, giving him this peace sign. The way she's like dancing on the street and he gives her a ride. She was a lot of fun in this film. I love when they go to the hippie compound or hippie camp, whatever you want to call it. And Brad Pitt's looking for this old stuntman he used to work with, old movie producer, whatever he was. And, you know, Dakota Fanning is at the door trying to stop him. Dakota Fanning cameo. And he goes in and it's like kind of creepy, like, oh my god, is that old guy dead? Hippies come into the house, but they go into the house and he's alive and all is well. Now let's talk about the ending to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The ending to this film was intense. It was brutal. It was Hollywood on full display. It was very violent. You know, they have Brad Pitt cornered and they're holding guns at him to kill people, and Brad Pitt's in there, he's high, he starts laughing at them, and then he goes and the dog just jumps and bites the guy's hand. Austin Butler is in this film. I didn't even recognize that was him. You know, Austin Butler, who plays Elvis Presley, is in this film, but he looks so different. You know, it just goes to show what a great actor he is. Brad Pitt and Austin Butler have this cool fight at the end. So yeah, I love the ending to this film. Brad Pitt just, you know, beats the crap out of these hippies that are coming here to kill people. I love the ending to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love that Sharon Tate lives at the end, and we see Leonardo DiCaprio visit their house and everything, and we get a happy ending. We see Sharon Tate at the end, who's pregnant, and she survives. I love the ending to this film. I love that Sharon Tate survives at the end of this film, and we get a happy ending, and then, you know, at the end it says Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Margot Robbie is beautiful, and I love every scene with her. She's very beautiful and very charismatic. Like, I thought every scene with Margot Robbie, like, you can't take your eyes off her. She is just beautiful and charismatic, and I really like Margot Robbie. But yeah, Brad Pitt is the hero of this film. He fights Bruce Lee, he stops the bad guys at the end. Brad Pitt stole the show in this film. So I think Brad Pitt stole the show in this film. He has a lot of great scenes. I really like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I love the way it was shot. The visuals are beautiful. Margot Robbie is beautiful and charismatic as Sharon Tate. Leonardo DiCaprio does a great job as Rick Dalton. Brad Pitt was amazing. Brad Pitt steals the show as Cliff Booth. But yeah, guys, I really like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Let me know what you think about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood down in the comment section down below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.